And welcome back, everyone, to the Lantern Corps. Today's Lantern Corps comes to us from, I believe it's Blue underscore, or is it Sonic? Yeah, Sonic underscore Blue Flash. Well, that's the question. What Lantern Corps do I believe Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, belongs in? I've done Sun Wukong a couple times in different videos on the channel before, particularly in verses. And understanding that this is mythology and part of people's culture, you always got to be a little respectful. And you always got to be he's got to be a bit, so you should be respectful, I think is the better way to put it. Sun Wukong, what Lantern Corps he belongs in would all depend on where you catch him in this journey. Because his journey is about growth, becoming, immortal, achieving different types of immortality, enlightenment, and ultimately achieving enlightenment, letting go of his envy, anger, and greed to become, enlightened and become a Buddha. Not the Buddha, mind you, but a Buddha. So what Lantern Corps he belongs in is a little difficult. Getting things out of the way real quick. Shame, Monkey Kingdom's never been a shame. Don't think so. That doesn't work. Death, he's never died, and nor is he really an embodiment of death, so I don't think that works either. I actually also don't think green works with him. You have to overcome great fear as well as have great willpower, and the Monkey King has really never been that afraid of anything, so I don't see that working. I do on some, at least on a base level up until the end of his story, think he could have qualified for fear because he was a menace. And I don't mean that just like he's an annoying monkey. I mean, as a warrior, he's a menace. He could take down armies with no issue. But that's not where his story ends. And if we're going to talk about lantern rings, we got to talk about where they kind of currently stand in their characters. And as it stands, fear doesn't work. I mean, he could still theoretically work. It's just not the strongest choice. Rage could have worked at points, but the Lantern Corps of Rage really only works well with characters who are kind of devoted to their rage. And in particular, it comes kind of more from a rage of revenge than anything else. So rage is sort of I don't think it would work. Compassion and love don't really work either. Not because he's necessarily devoid of these things and can't feel them. It just wasn't his primary focus emotionally. Although, for a while, greed certainly qualified. He was selfish. He wanted more. He gained literally multiple levels of immortality. You don't do that unless you are greedy. It's like, I'm doubly mortal now. So greed, for a while, would have been on the table. It would have. But like I said before, he overcame that. And so greed really doesn't work now with his character. What about things like happiness or hope? Arguable. Happiness I did debate because he's always been very jovial and very happy. But I don't know if I could say he's been constantly, he's been pissed off before, he's been fed up with things, he's been angry. The gold lanterns are weird because if I remember correctly, you do have to, I just turned on a video, 1 second, and we're just going to do that real quick. There we go. Let me just double check the qualifications. Gold Lantern Corps. I keep saying corpse. It is Corps. Gold Lantern Corps. Or the Gold Lantern Corps. Let's see. Is one of the Lantern Corps draws their power from their members' unfathomable happiness and joy. Which, to be fair, not a very good requirement. There's not many members of the whole Lantern Corps, as the gold ring can only be wielded by those who have known and expressed nothing but happiness and joy their whole lives. Yeah, that's the catch-22 on the Gold Lanterns. I think I've only done 1 or 2 Gold Lantern members my entire time doing this series. And they're more or less the equivalent of, say, something like a White Lantern. Because they're in an alternate universe is the thing. So they're kind of like their universe's version of a White Lantern. So, yeah. I don't think a Gold Lantern could have worked, but likewise, I don't see hope working very. Not to say it's he doesn't inspire hope from his friends and his companions, but I don't think that really works well. And the reason I don't think it works well is the fact that he is not a role model in many ways. Well, he did maybe because he called himself the Monkey King, and he led his people of monkeys and stuff like that for many years. Maybe you could make the argument that that does kind of work, but unlike, say, the Buddha, which does lean themselves to being an inspiration of hope and happiness and joy, all that, and peace. Sun Wukong, while achieving that, wasn't really promoting it very much. Not to say he wasn't, but it just, again, not his core focus. So unfortunately, nothing so far has really added up. But the one that, when I think on it more than even 5 seconds, made the most sense, it's life. Sun Wukong, I think, would actually be I mean, yes, he's taken life, sure. But when you really break down his character, lively, enjoys life, enjoys living, but also is immortal multiple times over. So when you combine all those together, he is the perfect embodiment, and protected others too. So he's the perfect embodiment of a White Lantern in that regard. So yeah, Sun Wukong, I think, certainly qualifies as a White Lantern. But look, this is, and I can imagine the ring like attaching itself to his staff. His staff shrinks down to a size that the ring just attaches to that. I can see him doing that. That'd be cool. Or attaches to one of his monkey toes. Like he wears it on. That'd actually be pretty funny too. He attaches it because these monkeys have basically the same type of hands or feet that are like our hands, more or less. So yeah, that would make sense too, and actually be pretty funny. But I digress. I think he'd be a White Lantern. But who do you think? Who among you thinks? What do you think is the Lantern Corps that Sun Wukong would belong to? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I'll see you folks for the next one. Later.